This program was pre-recorded.
You've entered the Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher, political analyst and socio-political prophet, and Kevin Gallagher, TV and podcast host and opinionated jackhole. So settle in, grab a beverage. It's time to talk some politics. It's Fletch Nation. Now here are the boys.
Hey, once again, we welcome you to another edition of Fletch Nation, coming at you from the old school barbecue smokehouse on Coursey Boulevard in Baton Rouge. It is the first day of February.
First day.
How are you, sir?
We're doing well. And you?
I'm doing well.
It's cold.
I'm glad to hear that the FBI did not find any classified documents at Joe Biden's beach house.
Yeah, well,
good to know?
How do you know that, Kevin?
Well,
That's what a question I had.
Told us, Roy. I mean, the FBI wouldn't lie to you, would they?
No, would they? No, huh? You know, it's kind of interesting that they forgot to tell us that they had raided, or they had searched the Joe Biden Center for Diplomatic Immunity, or whatever.
Biden Center.
Yeah, the Penn Biden Center. That broke this week.
For diplomatic immunity.
That broke this week.
So they did the search, but they didn't tell the American people that they did the search.
No, that's right. And they didn't want to tell us because what was about to happen. Midterms, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but the FBI they're not politically sensitive.
No, there's no agenda.
So they didn't find any documents, they say, but any classified documents. But what they did say they found, they took, were notes that apparently Biden had written about his tenure as vice president. So I don't know what that is, but it would appear to me that if the search warrant or whatever the case may be, although I don't think they got one because the president is complying fully.
Of course he is.
Yes. They may have seen something laying on the table that they thought was interesting. It might be some kind of evidence about something.
Hunter's crack pipe?
Hunter's crack pipe. No, this is notes. So, but anyway, but you know, I mean, this is an interesting situation the DOJ has gotten itself in. I mean, let's review real quick. We got the guy, I think his name is, that is running the special prosecutor's office on the Biden investigation. And then we have, I forget who it is, on the Trump investigation. And then, of course, in the middle of that, you have Mike Pence. And then you have a congressional committee that headed by Mike Turner, I think is his name, that's looking into all of this. And the DOJ is kind of boxed in this deal because if they do not pursue the Biden investigation, it's pretty obvious that they pursued the Trump investigation, which means their credibility has been shot already. So what happens is, does something happen to Trump? You know, like he gets indicted and nothing happens to Biden? I mean, that's a possibility, and which would serve to undermine even more the credibility of the Department of Justice. Or does something, I don't think this is even remotely possible, does something happen to Biden and Trump walks free? I don't think that's even remotely possible. So, you know, and what happens, what did Pence have, and so on and so forth. And fundamentally, another question is we won't find out. There's speculation about, which means it's fun, and that is, who's really behind this?
That's always the question.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we have a pretty good idea who was behind the Trump thing. The question is, who's behind the Biden thing? And the speculation is that it's not Republicans that are behind it, it is Democrats. Because if you look at Joe's numbers, they're not good. They continue to be bad. and with more and more news coming that's not good. And at the same, so we got to get rid of him.
Yeah, they want the White House in 24.
Yeah. And Kamala is not going to cut it. That my gut. Well, I just think that's what the betting is that she has the same negatives as Biden does, if not worse.
I think there's something to that.
So what is the deal? And then of course last week I kind of threw Gavin Newsom's name in this thing. But Newsom don't have the contacts in D.C. I don't think that would be have the ability to sort of drop these documents and drop the hints of where they are and so on and so forth, like other people that perhaps Biden served with. And of course that would implicate perhaps, possibly, could, maybe the Obamas.
I was going to say former president, former chief of staff in the White House.
Former first lady, because Barack Obama cannot run for president again, he's done. But there is another Obama that might be interested in it. So it may very well be that it's lining up that way. Yesterday,
let me stop you right there, just real quick. And let's talk for a second about Michelle Obama. Is she electable? Because we know she doesn't have to be particularly. You don't have to be forget Republican, Democrat. You don't have to be particularly great at anything to be president. You just have to be electable.
Let's put it this way. Did Joe Biden win?
Well, yeah. So if they want her to win, she'll win, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying this. If electability was not one of his strong points, but he won anyway, Trump won against Hillary. Anybody. I don't say anybody, but it's possible that that's possible.
Okay.
And I think that she's put herself in the public. Tucker Carlson last night did a piece on her, and that she's been out in the public and doing a lot of stuff and doing a lot of interviews. I say in the public, not in the public. She's just been in the public domain and doing a lot of interviews and that kind of thing. So yeah, I think she could be a real serious candidate, and they may very well be looking at that. On the Republican side, it's becoming very fascinating. Go back to the documents a minute, though, and that is that clearly somebody, somewhere, somehow, is sort of promoting this thing of Joe and the secret documents, and Joe's been containing them for a long time, and it goes back to, or been having them for a long time. It goes back to fundamentally the basic question there is, besides who's doing it, is what does the laptop say? Because this goes back to the laptop. This goes back to the Ukraine. This goes back to China. This goes back to why Trump was impeached for a phone call. That's what this goes back to. And Miranda Levine with the New York Post is just continuing to churn out article after article now from the laptop from hell that says there are documents out there. We'll be right back and take up some more.
I think so.
Got termites. Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
You could be driving a...
Now's the time to save on new Accords during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana. Get our lowest prices and biggest savings on our largest selection of Accords this year. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda of Acadiana, I-49 just south of Opelousas.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back, Fletch Nation. He's Roy Fletcher. I'm Kevin Gallagher. And coming up later in the program, as we like to do in our final segment, we're going to have another one of Roy's chats with coastal attorney John Carmouche. That's coming up in just a short while.
So that kind of lays out the whole Biden thing, except it goes back to, as I said, to the laptop from hell, right? Mm-hmm. And that implicates all of Hunter Biden's behavior. People say, well, he's not president. No, but he was operating for somebody named the big guy, mm-hmm. who happened to be Tony Bobolinsky, their partner, identified as Joe Biden, right?
Right. The implication, I think, is simple. Was he a conduit for selling influence with the vice president and then possibly the current president of the United States?
Now, there's an aspect of the laptop from hell that relates to Hunter Biden was operating with a company called Rosemont Seneca. Mm-hmm. Rosemont Seneca invested $500,000 into this Ukrainian biolab. What? Did I say biolab?
Yeah, you said biolab. There are no biolabs in Ukraine. Am I wrong about that?
The Pentagon's already admitted there are 46 of them.
46?
Mm-hmm.
46?
Yeah, they admitted it this week. They said it this week. But this biolab...
Nothing to see here why we're sending tanks and billions of dollars.
No, folks, y'all keep your eyes closed. Nothing to see. Metabiota is what it said. It was a Ukrainian biolab. Now, Metabiota got this investment from Hunter Biden's employer, company, whatever you want to call it, that he was operating for. $500,000. And then a couple of months later, not long after, Metabiota got a $23.9 million contract, the Obama administration, from DOD, from the Department of Defense. I thought there's a biolab.
I thought you weren't supposed to make biological weapons.
I don't know what's going on.
Isn't that against international law?
Now, it had only received the year before $340,000 contract from the Department of Homeland Security. That was their government contract. Suddenly they got a $24 million contract. This biolab company now, here's what's interesting about Metabiology at the time. When the Russians started the invasion into the Ukraine, Zelensky had all the files with respect to Metabiota destroyed.
Why?
Because they had to get rid of all that
Didn't want
paper.
it to fall into the Russians' hands.
They had to move fast.
Yeah.
You know, they couldn't carry all that paper with them.
Destroy the evidence, my friend.
Yeah. Well, you think that. This thing just keeps going, and so the document problem for Biden is all involved and intertwined with the whole Hunter Biden making money off of China and the Ukraine as we go forward, and that's the real question. Somebody said, "Well, gee, didn't Trump get his son-in-law get $2 billion from Saudi Arabia?" And my response to that is, given how many times Trump's been investigated,
they would have found something.
I suspect that's probably the cleanest money anybody ever got from the Saudis.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, nobody wanted that trouble. Now, and by the way, and it's all intertwined with what else? The Ukrainian war. In some way, this is all, and the machinations with Ukraine and biolabs and Russia taking offense and all of that is very suggestive of the fact that we don't have a clue about this story to any great extent.
The American people? No, we don't know what the hell's going on.
The American press has not covered this story in any way other than simply making it a cause célèbre. They have not covered it critically. They should have learned from Vietnam 50 years ago that you don't cover something like this uncritically, because if you do, you're going to get a bunch of people killed. Well, there's already been a bunch of people killed. Now, Biden has said that he's sending over the new Abrams tank.
Yep.
Which require 5 people to run. They have to have these huge cranes to pull the motor out. The logistics of these things are terrible. Send them over. They're going to send them over. Everybody's sending them over, whatever the case may be. And why is that so? Well, we know now that Russia is putting together about 250,000 people. They're going back into the Ukraine. They're going to invade it again. So Biden yesterday said, well, I'm not sending any F-16s. Folks, don't believe that. Here's what the deal is. I'm going to tell you the deal on this. You can just see it. I mean, Ray Charles can see this. Okay? Jose Feliciano.
That's what we'll hear about on social media right there.
Oh, I mean, it's not being ugly. I'm not being ugly about it. The point of it is that if they want to send F-16s, but if Russia is going to start an invasion again, that grants a provocation so the F-16s can go.
Yep.
Now, I got news for you. The Ukrainians are not going to fly the F-16s.
No.
Somebody else will.
Yep.
Who do you think that'll be?
I would say some...
Germans?
No, I'd say some U.S. Air Force pilots will be flying those F-16s.
You think? My guess is that there are going to be a lot of U.S. personnel over there working on those Abrams tanks, too.
Oh, I'm thinking so.
Because they're very complicated machinery.
If not actually piloting the tanks, because they'll get frustrated with trying to teach Ukrainians to pilot their tanks.
I don't know, but the point of it is that this is all one big continuous loop. Speaking of one big continuous loop, we're going to talk about what happened at LSU and what happened prior to that event at LSU that all we have talking about.
A 3-minute commercial loop in Fletch Nation. We'll be right back.
We'll loop you in.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The season of inspiration is the perfect time to discover the enhanced Mazda CX-5, named a 2022 IIHS Safety Pick Plus Award winner, its highest safety award honor. Choose from over 45 CX-5s available at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
It's been about 2 weeks since the untimely and tragic death of Madison Brooks in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Madison, 19 years old. I think she was a second-year student at LSU. One night, she was out and apparently had spent some time at a popular bar in Tigerland, which is adjacent to the campus. She and...
Well, right down the road from it, anyway.
Yep. She and a group of boys were doing some drinking, doing some dancing, blah, blah, blah. Make a long story short, after some time, what happened in the car with the 4 boys is still to be determined, but these 4 boys dropped her off in an extremely drunken state on the side of a very dark Burbank Drive in Baton Rouge, and she was hit by a car and killed.
Well,
mitigating factors, though, I think her blood alcohol level, 0.319, 4 times the legal limit at the time of her death.
The crime, however, they're being charged with is not killing her, but rape.
Yep.
That's the crime.
Rape, an accessory to rape.
Yes. Now, the president of the university thinks that the rape was committed by the bar owners, which is
one of the most tone-deaf things I've heard from a university president.
One of the more odd things I've ever heard from anybody is the bar owner's fault. Well, gee, was he in the back seat? No, he wasn't in the back seat, but he was there. So whatever. And if the bar owner was selling to underage, he's gonna get his share, and I can assure you, probably get sued civilly too. But the fact is, though, is that we have now since that event, we are finding out, because of the advocate, I think, that there have been other allegations and charges, or people have made allegations and people have been arrested or picked up or held or whatever the case may be, that one of the principals in this, one of the rapists,
accused rapist.
He has been accused of
one, perhaps two others.
Yeah, one, perhaps two others, or perhaps two, one, and perhaps another.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's make it very clear, and it frankly hadn't surprised anybody. It has not surprised anybody and it just so happens that one of those that they described that he was possibly involved with sounded very similar to the one that happened in a teen, underage, got drunk,
taken advantage of in a bedroom, and then he's gone. And it's very much like what happened in this situation. The problem with it is that we know this because we are hearing from, we've heard from the lawyers that the defense lawyers say no rape. It's not a rape. It was consensual, and we know that the district attorney's office is likely or may already have up the charges to serious rape, not just an accessory rape, and so this starts to all play out, and the tributaries of this go so many directions, but I focus on what it is doing to LSU, and I'll repeat 3 incidents. And we could talk about more, but I go back to 3 incidents that made national news. Along Miss Brooks, the same weekend, the shootout at the OK Dior. Yes, that involved, some of the victims were LSU students.
And Miss Rice.
And Allie Rice, another young LSU co-ed, was on her way home. She was basically,
Gangland shot down, executed.
She was in her car, stuck in traffic while a train was crossing railroad tracks on Government Street in Baton Rouge when person or persons unknown walked up next to the car and fired through the window and the door.
The clear message is LSU is unsafe. That is the clear message. And it is a message that people that live around LSU have been telling people around here for a good while. It is a clear message that LSU is an unsafe place to go to school. And the university has not addressed that in any kind of forceful way and manner so that people can feel at least somebody hears what the hell is going on and is reacting or has a proactive strategy for dealing with that on that campus and around that campus.
I think last weekend when we talked about this, I used the phrase whistling past the graveyard for the leadership at LSU, but I still hold by that.
Tragic way to say it.
I think they're trying to just kind of, hope that this passes and,
Well, this is not pass.
But, think about, in recent years, we've had a student die during an alcohol poisoning hazing. LSU has been, I'm going to ask you, I'm looking at the camera. If you were about to send kids to college, how would you feel about sending them to LSU? Would you feel like they'd be safe?
I will say this much. I have talked to a number of people that damn sure don't feel safe about it, that don't feel like they want to do that anymore, that their kids to go there. I mean, and not only is LSU getting the bad rap, so is Baton Rouge, but LSU's taking some of the Baton Rouge bad rap too. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's all poured, it's back, it's sort of a symbiotic relationship. And this is hurting our community, and it's hurting our city, and it's hurting the future of a very important university. Well, the most important right now in the state of Louisiana.
The flagship university.
Yeah, and there just does not seem to be any whistles and bells going off. And by the way, I don't know if people have noticed, but I hadn't heard any public officials say a damn thing about any of it. Nobody. Not the governor, not anybody.
Metro Council in Baton Rouge.
Not anybody has said
state representatives
about it.
Anyone?
Just everything's fine. I guess everything's fine, Kevin. Is that right?
Yeah, just another dead girl from Tangipahoa Parish, I guess. Or St. Tammany.
It's unbelievable, and we're going to rue the day that this community does not take a more forceful approach to all of this.
We have to take a more forceful commercial break. Give us 3 minutes. We'll be right back. John Carmouche still coming up in this week's Fletch Nation.
A greed break.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Gallagher High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
The biggest sale of the year is happening right now during Happy Honda Days at Team Honda. For a limited time, make no payments for 90 days on every new Honda. That's right, you choose and make no payments for 90 days at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Caught spiders? past services.
Fletch Nation returns. Welcome into the month of February. Coming up on, I want to say the 21st of this month is Mardi Gras.
Well,
Mardi Gras Day. Do you ever do Mardi Gras at all anymore? I mean, I kind of did it so much in my younger years that I've just kind of gotten
I never did do too much.
sort of Mardi Gras out.
Yeah, I was from North Louisiana.
Well, there's not much any Mardi Gras.
Well, no, but when we came down here, I mean, it did not, the cultural thing didn't jive with me. So I went to New Orleans once or twice maybe, and went to Washington Mardi Gras 3 or 4 times, and I just kind of got, I wasn't interested.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because DC Mardi Gras, this is Wednesday as we record this. DC Mardi Gras wrapped up last Saturday night. I don't know if they had any Sunday events, or they just let people have Sunday to get their their cells dried out and back home.
Yeah, you got to get you hung over. I mean, at least I was every time I went.
I know it's like a big dinner dance on Friday night, followed by a straight up Mardi Gras style ball on Saturday night.
Yeah.
There's also all kinds of reception parties.
Oh yeah,
and
all
meets and
kinds of
greets.
stuff. It's just a running freak show.
But really, what is the purpose?
Huh?
What is the purpose besides, I'll do this to you, and then you do that to me, and then we'll make
That's pretty much what it, I'm sure they have some sort of altruistic stuff going on, but I mean, it's pretty much that, and it's to go up there and talk stuff about politics and see people about politics and some business, and that's basically what it amounts to.
Thank you for what you opened with, because I do want to be fair. There is altruistic activities involved in DC Mardi Gras. There is good done.
Yeah, I think
it's not just bougie people enjoying themselves.
No, I think that it is. It's just a dear friend of mine, Fred Heavey, was president or king of it this year, and I could have gone, but I didn't want to get into it. I just didn't. And I'm told that the crowds are really big this year. They had a big one, maybe the biggest.
Some of my politicos that are Facebook friends that it was a huge event this year.
Yeah,
Big.
yeah, that's what I understand. And but I'm glad I missed it, y'all. I really am. Y'all could do fine. Y'all did just fine without Fletch.
The older I get, the less I miss missing stuff.
Yeah, me too. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
It's like, okay.
So, speaking of Louisiana, you made the point in the break that this governor's race has practically been short-circuited by the announcement of a candidate.
Yep, I would say that we need to stop the press as political writers, because Richard Nelson is running for governor.
Yes.
Richard Nelson.
State representative from over on the North Shore.
I shouldn't mock him, but he's a young man. He's a state representative from over in, I want to say St. Tammany Parish.
Yep.
And I've interviewed him a couple of times. He's an earnest man. He's a clever, very intelligent young man.
He is.
But and if he wants to run,
I think he probably has good ideas too.
Yeah, one of his ideas is like other candidates before him, he wants to eliminate state income tax.
Yeah.
He says that states in the Gulf South that are moving ahead don't have state income tax.
Well, not only in the Gulf South, anywhere, and that's true. The problem is that those that want to eliminate it can't tell you how they're going to fill it. Okay, in other words, if you eliminate,
to swap that tax.
So you either swap it or you cut it. No, one or the other. There is no other. There's no way around it.
We don't cut budgets.
Apparently we don't here.
We don't cut budgets.
Or anywhere else. And I mean, I consider his announcement is pretty much on the vein of Nikki Haley announcing she's going to run for president. It's a Republican, the former governor of South Carolina. She talked about Gary Hart. Well, she didn't talk about Gary Hart. What she talked about was a new generation of leadership. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just a total Gary Hart.
Yeah.
1984.
That is reminiscent.
Yada, yada, yada.
What a powerful campaign.
Yeah,
It
that
exploded like a bomb.
Well, it did explode, and it had Baton Rouge connections too. Ray Strother was handling Gary Hart.
Oh man, that poor SOB.
Yeah, and was literally, they were doing really well until Gary got caught on the boat with Donna Rice.
The monkey business.
Yeah, owned by a fella out of Lafayette.
Amazing. There's always a Louisiana connection, isn't
Yeah, we're always a Louisiana connection. That's interesting. There is a Louisiana connection to Biden and some of this stuff with Hunter Lundy, and I can't remember the lawyer's name. I think he's out of Lafayette.
Hunter Lundy, another man, an independent runner for governor this fall.
Hunter Biden.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did say Lundy.
But I'm sorry, I apologize. But there's a lawyer out of Lafayette that was putting together, I think, some kind of deal or trying to with Cheniere Energy out of Houston. There's always some connection to Louisiana in some way, shape, or form. I don't know why, but it just is.
Well, the other news on the governor's race is as recently as yesterday, Mr. Garrett Graves, Congressman Garrett Graves, District 6, Louisiana, said he still hasn't made up his mind yet on whether or not he's going to run. But he did voice what he says is increasing feedback from voters in Louisiana, that they're unhappy that the state Republican Party, headed by Central Committee Chairman Louis Gerbich, is basically trying to handpick Louisiana's next governor and not leave it up to the voters to decide.
Voters. You might want to hear that, donors.
The donors, not voters, yeah.
You might want to hear it that way. There's a number of wealthy people that don't like certain candidates in this race, and they are promoting their wealth by promoting Mr. Graves, I think, is a fair way to say it. They're doing it for all the right altruistic reasons, too.
I think Garrett Graves has the charisma, the personable qualities that could make him a good governor.
He might. But I don't.
He's also got a pretty sweet deal going in Washington, D.C. right now. He's tight with the House Speaker. I think he just got a plum committee assignment.
Yeah, he did. He said that was not going to affect his decision about running for governor. And but it's a tough decision for him, I think. It would be for me if I were him, because you got to come down here and spend a full 10 months just pounding it. And
what he'd have to be doing is burning up the skies between here and Washington, because he couldn't miss that many votes. That would hurt him in Congress.
It would hurt him, and it would hurt us. And so it's a tough call for him. I think, however, he would be a good candidate. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think he would be a good candidate.
I think he's got a lot of those qualities that people want to see.
That makes a point. The governor, I don't think yet's in this race.
The governor's not going to.
No, a governor is not in this race yet.
Oh, I know what you're saying now.
Okay.
You're saying the next governor hasn't entered as yet.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Interesting. All right, we're going to take our final break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and when we come back, John Carmouche, Coastal Attorney, with Roy on Fletch Nation.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Welcome back to Fletch Nation. In our final segment, we always like to take a few minutes and feature one of Roy's recent conversations with coastal attorney John Carmouche. So, without further ado, Roy and John Carmouche.
Well, welcome back. We're with John Carmouche, a well-known coastal and environmental lawyer in Louisiana, a land lawyer. And we've been talking about sort of your past and your education and what sort of brought you to the fight for the coast of Louisiana. There's bigger issues, though, it seems, John. There's a new poll out by the New York Times over the weekend, the Siena poll, Siena College poll, that had 13% of the country in a good mood about the direction of the United States. What do you think about the direction of our country?
I think it's going in the wrong way. I mean, it's too divided, Roy. Too much politics. I grew up in a political family, but also grew up believing in the real world. And I think we've lost the touch of actually working together and putting politics aside. You can have your views, and I believe in strong conservative views myself as a Republican, but I also believe in a real world working together. I give the example that, we show up at work every day. There's so many businesses in Louisiana that are huge and making a large difference in Louisiana. They show up to work every day to work together as a business. They don't show up every day to say, are you a Republican, Democrat, Independent? They show up every day, they work together, and they accomplish huge things in Louisiana. But it just seems like as soon as you turn on the political TV,
when you walk in the state
capitol, it's politics. And everybody forgets that Louisiana needs to be run like a business. And to do that, you have to work together. And I think we've lost that in this state.
I can't think of a way to get it back either. But the fact is that the point that you're making is that it's a necessity.
It's an absolute necessity. This state needs to turn in the direction of working together working together as a business to bring businesses here and to grow the economy and bring our kids back.
Well, you bring up the economy. I mean, what do you think of the general direction of Louisiana and our economy in Louisiana is right now?
It's terrible. I mean, we're in the 21st century and we're running this state like it's 1950. It's time to change. It's time to be pro-business. It's time to bring our kids back and make them want to come back. And right now, we need dramatic change on education. We need a dramatic change on how we deal with businesses. We need to bring the oil industry back. I mean, everybody says I'm against the oil industry. I'm not against the oil industry.
We talked about that last week. I mean, you're quite the opposite, correct?
I am the opposite, because I believe in, if we zero out the liability, we can bring back...
You mean the sort of the coastal liability?
Clear the coastal liability, clean up this state, and make them want to come back. And we can bring the oil industry back. We have to make the dramatic change in the state that we've needed for a long, long time, and not just because of the oil industry.
That's one of the things that you have talked about that's so different, and that is, for right now, for the Biden administration had taken the position that the 5-year plan on offshore drilling, they're just not even going to bring it up anymore. They're not going to discuss it. On the other hand, you've taken the position, if you clean up the coast and the liability gets cleaned up, then what you want is an industry that can drill and manufacture and produce, and the liability be gone.
Not only the liability be gone, but there are great operators in the state of Louisiana today, and there are great operators that want to come here in Louisiana.
In the oil and gas industry.
In the oil and gas industry, yeah. and get our industry and our people back to work and do it the right way.
Yeah.
And that's the key, is do it the right way, bring them back, grow the economy with zero liability, and let's move on.
One of the things that has been discussed in the last couple of weeks, Governor Ducey of Arizona has passed what they call the most Education Freedom Choice Act in the country, where basically the money follows the student rather than going to the county or the school board or what. It follows the student. Wherever the student goes, whatever school the student decides to go to, the money follows. When you say dramatic change from Louisiana in education, that would be something that you'd want to look at, I would assume, huh?
Definitely. I mean, I have to study it, but my position on education is we have to get our kids to want to stay here. And our education, it needs a dramatic change in how we educate our kids, because our kids have to want to be educated. You can't make and force these kids to do something they don't want to do. So there's a lot of things that look at trade schools and getting these kids to be educated on the jobs we have for them in Louisiana. And
market sensitive,
yeah. And make this a state where we promote working here, not promoting outside of the state.
Right.
So I think all of those programs are great programs to look at, and definitely the state of Louisiana needs a change in education.
But you would say that if you're not teaching the basics and doing the basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic, you're not really accomplishing much, are you?
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
That's the kind of dramatic change Louisiana needs. We have a couple of things that I kind of call it the quick round, and we'll go ahead and get into a little bit of that. You give me quick answers to questions that people ask. One is like, you say you're a Republican. What's your position like on the Second Amendment?
I'm for it, Roy.
I mean, that's pretty much says it all right there. You're for it, you know. What about immigration, illegal immigration, and that sort of thing?
I'm for building the wall. I'm for keeping them out. This is the United States of America, and as long as you legally come here, then I think you should go through the process.
I got you. So now, John, if I've taken my cue properly, we can now go to a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
As always, we appreciate John Carmouche, and we are working right now to come up with some new segments. We got a production shoot scheduled.
So, Kevin,
sir,
a couple of things we didn't talk about. One is that the House Oversight Committee has disclosed that they think about $500 billion in COVID funds were pilfered.
misused,
stolen,
taken under false pretense,
whatever,
given away under false pretense.
Given away under false pretenses.
I'm shocked. Do you hear me shocked?
I don't understand it. I didn't know that would happen. Number two is
because when the federal government throws money at America, none of it ever goes to waste.
Not going to. Number two is Bob Woodward, in the last day or two, has stepped way out there and, as they say, excoriated the media on Russiagate and on his warnings about the dossier. Do you remember that?
I do remember that Woodward said, it's not legit.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's apparently taken it to people that they basically frauded the whole thing up. And then, which it's pretty
Should we
obvious.
remind everybody who Bob Woodward is? He and Carl Bernstein are the guys that basically blew the lid off of Watergate.
That's correct. There's a lot to be said for that. And then one of the last things we touch on is the second retirement of Tom Brady. Excuse me.
And this time I mean it.
Yeah, this time I mean it. The Babylon Bee perhaps had the funniest thing to say about it. They said that Biden is intent on replacing Tom Brady with a woman of color. Because you got to have, diversity, and that's
inclusion and diversity. It's important in all things.
It's important in everything.
Quality and competency is not as important as inclusion and diversity.
But the fact is that I think we all know Babylon Bee is a satire.
Very good one too.
And a very, very good one. But I thought that was kind of a...
See, I used to think The Onion was a great satire site, but somewhere along the way they went full lefty. They went full-blown lefty. Yeah. And it used to be that nothing was safe from them, but...
No, the Bee is... the Bee goes all over the place.
As it should be.
Yeah, they just make up they just decide to make things up that are funny, which is kind of humorous when you're reading Twitter and you run across a bee sting.
I'm glad that they're back on Twitter.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad they're just back, and but particularly on Twitter. And
they'd also been banned from Facebook for a while. I'm following on Facebook.
So next week we got to, hopefully we'll have some more candidates announced for governor, and we can actually talk about a governor's race at that point. But I will say this much. One thing I do know now, just from what I've been hearing, is that Hunter Lundy is he's staffing up. I don't know what that means. He's getting some decent people around him, and he may or may not make a race out of this thing. I don't know.
He told Louisiana Radio Network that he fully intends to make a serious race for governor.
I think he certainly indicate that that's what he's going to do. And so next week we'll be back, and we may even talk about Hunter Lundy besides Hunter Biden.
Until then, you take care of yourself. This is Fletch Nation. Bye-bye.
Listening to Fletch Nation with Roy Fletcher and Kevin Gallagher. Remember, if you heard something that ticked you off, upset your sensibilities, or threatened your precious safe space,
the opinions expressed by the hosts and guests are purely their own and do not reflect those of this radio station or its advertisers.
So if you're calling a lawyer, planning a boycott, or a cancel campaign, forget about it and join us next week for more Fletch Nation.